The 2022 AFL trade period has officially kicked off, and there's been a stack of early action following Karl Amon's free agent switch from Port Adelaide to Hawthorn on Friday. The trade period, which runs from Monday 9 a.m. ET until Wednesday October 12, is shaping as one of the biggest in history, with a host of big-name players expected to change clubs. Keep up to date with all the moves as they happen in our live blog below. Scroll down to follow all the action. Live.Analysis, local footy and the biggest moments. 7 and 7 Plus are the home of footy shows for every fan. Stream them all for free. Jump to top key events 5 minutes ago exclusive. Bombers circling D's midfielder 1 hour ago. Melbourne speedster gets to West Coast 1 hour ago. Watch 7 News inside trades with Tom Brown and Mitch Cleary 3 hours ago. Richmond get their man 3 hours ago. First trade done with Giant becoming a pie 6 hours ago. Melbourne respond to absolutely ludicrous Pickett rumor 8 hours ago. Roos demand high price for JHF 8 hours ago. Big Cat set to stay put 10 hours ago. Harry McKay signs monster deal to stay blue for life 10 hours ago. Horn Francis delivers bombshell on trade period eve 10 hours ago. Just over half an hour to go! Plus show more reporting. Live 5 minutes ago. Glenn Valencic exclusive. Bombers circling D's midfielder. Melbourne Premiership player James Harmes has spoken with Essendon in recent days and is now pondering whether to ask for a trade. 7 News Melbourne's Mitch Cleary has revealed. The 26-year-old midfielder has emerged as a man in demand with multiple clubs despite having 2 years remaining on his deal at the Demons, who would need to tick off on his departure. A move would appear unlikely, but Harmes' conversation with the Bombers has come as a surprise on day one of the trade period. His midfield minutes dried up late in the 2022 season when Angus Brayshaw re-emerged as a leading option for the D's. Essendon are still chasing Gold Coast's Jack Bowes, but, if unsuccessful, could then ramp up the hunt for Harmes. North Melbourne, Hawthorn and Geelong are also in the mix for Bowes, who is expected to come packaged with the Suns' No. 7 draft pick as part of a salary dump. Meanwhile, Cleary reported Bombers defender Aaron Francis will get to Sydney as he seeks out a fresh start. Share to Twitter, share to Facebook, copy the link. 43 minutes ago. Glenn Valencic Giants target Richmond player and Hopper deal with the Tim Taranto deal done. GWS and the Tigers have begun looking ahead to getting Jacob Hopper to Punt Road. The two teams agreed to separate the trades given the added complexity of Hopper being under contract. Taranto landed at Richmond for picks number 12 and number 19, but the Giants say that won't be the way to get the next deal done. We are looking at a combination of a player and a draft pick, list boss Jason McCartney told Sen. Ivan Soldo's name has been raised as a possible option in recent weeks, but it remains unclear if he is of interest to GWS. Tigers midfielder Jack Graham, wary of reduced opportunities at the club, toured Port Adelaide last week but dropped off the Power's radar when North Melbourne's Jason Horne-Francis requested a trade on Sunday. It's not obvious at the moment what Richmond can do to satisfy a deal, McCartney said of a Hopper trade. Share to Twitter, share to Facebook, copy the link. 1 hour ago. Glenn Valencic Melbourne speedster gets to West Coast. Jaden Hunt's move to the Eagles as an unrestricted free agent is done, reports 7 News. Perth's Ryan Daniels. The final details on his contract were sorted on Monday, with Melbourne receiving a third-round selection, currently no. 52, as compensation. Hunt was previously reported to have received a 3-year offer from West Coast. Share to Twitter, share to Facebook, copy the link. 1 hour ago. Glenn Valencic. Watch 7 News inside trades with Tom Brown and Mitch Cleary. With plenty to discuss on a busy first day of the trade period, who better to sit down and hit the hot topics than 7 News, Melbourne's leading AFL reporters. Watch the video below as Tom and Mitch discuss Jason Horne-Francis's trade request, the reasons and the value. Fremantle's Rory Lobb conundrum as Luke Jackson deal looms. Brodie Grundy's likely move to Melbourne and how it affects Tom Mikel. Share to Twitter, share to Facebook, copy the link. 3 hours ago. Glenn Valencic Richmond get their man. The Giants' exodus has continued, with Tim Taranto joining Bobby Hill out the door on Monday afternoon. Taranto joins Richmond in exchange for picks number 12 and number 19 in this year's AFL draft. It's understood his new 7-year deal at the Tigers is worth up to $3 million. I can't wait to run out in the yellow and black next year in front of all the fans, Taranto said. Thank you so much to the Richmond Football Club for the opportunity, I am so excited. GWS said they are thrilled to receive 2 strong picks in return for Taranto. We're excited to take an extremely strong hand into this year's draft to continue to build a successful list and add to our group with some of the country's top talent, list boss Jason McCartney said. I would like to thank Tim for his contribution to the Giants over the past 6 years. He's been a committed and consistent player for our club but received a lucrative offer elsewhere that he simply couldn't refuse. We wished him all the best for the future. The Tigers now need to work out a separate deal to lure Toronto's teammate Jacob Hopper to Punt Road. Hopper, 1 year older than Toronto, is set to receive his own 7-year deal at Richmond but remains under contract with GWS for 2023, adding a layer of complexity to the trade talks. Share to Twitter, share to Facebook, copy the link. 3 hours ago, Ben Sutton first trade done with Giant becoming a Pie. GWS small forward Bobby Hill is officially a Collingwood player. The classy Giant has been traded to the Pies in exchange for a future 2nd round pick, and the two clubs will also swap 3rd round picks, 40 and 43. Hill wanted to be traded to Victoria last year, but the Giants held him to the final year of his contract. The 22-year-old managed 11 games this year before he was sidelined after undergoing surgery at the start of June for testicular cancer. He returned to training later in the season and played in the Giants' VFL team for the final game of the season. The Giants will replace Hill with Melbourne speedster Toby Bedford, who officially requested a trade to GWS over the weekend. Share to Twitter, share to Facebook, copy the link. 3 hours ago, Ben Sutton Noble speaks on Horne-Francis. Former North Melbourne coach David Noble insists Jason Horne-Francis embraced being at the club and never showed any disinterest. Last year's number 1 draft pick has requested a trade to Port Adelaide, with the Roos willing to listen to offers if they are suitable. Noble said there were no alarm bells when the Roos used pick no. 1 on the talented South Australian. The club even considered moving the family to Melbourne to help. No, we actually spoke to the family about moving here, to Melbourne, and whether or not that was an option to continue to support, he said. It's something I've discussed at other clubs with other families that might have some portability to come and support the player in that first year or two. We were at that point, so there was no alarm bells at all in regards to him departing or asking for a trade. Share to Twitter, share to Facebook, copy the link. 5 hours ago, Ben Sutton Power rule out trading young guns for Port Adelaide have ruled out including Josh Shin and Miles Bergman as part of a trade to land North Melbourne young gun Jason Horne-Francis. Horne-Francis dropped a bomb on the eve of the trade period by requesting a trade, and while the Kangaroos are willing to listen to offers for last year's no. 1 draft pick, they are setting a high price. North list manager Brady Rawlings said that Port Adelaide's first pick, no. 8, and next year's first rounder will not be enough to get the deal done. Power football manager Chris Davis remained confident a deal will get done, but said Shin and Berman will remain at the club. They're both contracted at Port Adelaide and neither have suggested they want to go, and we don't want either of them to go, Davis said on Monday. I'm really confident a deal can be struck as long as both parties are fair and reasonable. If there's a deal to be done, then I think both clubs have historically got deals done when there's one to be had. Share to